Namaste friends, my name is Amit. Welcome to my channel Ganesha-Hanuman. Today we'll talk about the importance of Amavasya, the new moon, and how we can harness the positive energies, the blessings of each Amavasya. And specifically we'll talk about this upcoming Amavasya, which is going to take place on February 19th in the US and February 20th in India. Do watch till the end. I've created a chart that gives you key recommendations for each of the 12 rising signs for this particular upcoming Amavasya. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And also watch other videos I have created on Jupiter transit, Saturn transit. And also I've made a calendar that gives specific dates and times for each Amavasya and Purnima throughout this year 2023, so that'll be relevant for this video as well, and I've given the links for all those in the description section below. So let's get started. So in a year we have 12 Amavasyas, the 12 new moons, right? And each has an inherent signature or a theme to it, and that theme depends on two things. One, the sign it's taking place in, and secondly, the nakshatra it's taking place in. So that's the theme. And then secondly, how that energy will manifest for each of the Amavasya depends on your rising sign, right? So there is inherent theme, and then there is, how that energy will manifest and what area it manifests depends on your rising sign. So we'll talk about those, both of those. But first, let's understand the deeper meaning of Amavasya. First of all, the meaning of the word, the Sanskrit word Amavasya, it comes from two words, the Ama and Vasya. Ama means together, and Vasya means to dwell, to reside. So it literally means something residing together. So in this case, sun and the moon are together during Amavasya. So they're in the same sign, and on that exact moment of Amavasya, they're actually exactly at the same degree, at the same spot. Now, astrologically, what's happening is Amavasya is a birth of a new cycle. Each Amavasya gives birth to something new, and what that something new is depends on the theme of that nakshatra, of that Amavasya that we'll talk about. So Amavasya gives birth to something new, and during that entire month, we can do things around that theme, if we know what that theme is, right? And then astronomically, what's happening is, on Amavasya, all the three, the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun, they're aligned in a straight line, okay? And the Moon is closest to the Sun on Amavasya. In fact, Moon is right on top of Sun, right? So that means there is no Moon on Amavasya. See, Moon represents our mind, Sun is the soul, and Earth is the body. So body, mind, and soul are aligned. That's a wonderful thing. But Moon is weak on Amavasya. See, any planet that goes near the sun, it burns up. It kind of loses its energy. It gives its power to sun. So the moon that is right on top of sun is very weak. It's a good thing, actually. Why? Because moon represents our mind. So moon being weak, it's not reflecting any light of the sun. So that means there is no monkey mind. So the mind has merged with the soul. Moon represents our individual consciousness. And when moon is not there, or moon is not reflecting any light of the soul, that means there is no individual consciousness anymore. We've merged our consciousness with the supreme consciousness, with the soul. So there's no separate identity. There's no ego. By ego, I don't mean the ahankar, the pride, but ego as in separate identity. So there is no monkey mind, there is no separate identity. So what we do is we can go within and manifest something beautiful. So what that beautiful thing is depends on, again, the theme of the nakshatra and on your rising sign. So first, let's talk about the theme of this upcoming Amavasya, and then we'll talk about the area of life it's going to manifest for each of the 12 zodiac signs. So this particular Amavasya on February 19th and February 20th, it's taking place in the sign of Aquarius and in the nakshatra of Shatabhishak. And thirdly, it's actually going to be trines to Ketu. So there's a spiritual element to it. So first of all, the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius represents our friends, social interactions, social media, the masses, reaching out to people in large numbers, and our desires, ambitions, and also doing something for the humanity, doing something for the entire population, coming up with innovative ideas to help the humanity. So that's the key signature of this sign of Aquarius. Now, the nakshatra of Shatabhishak literally means 100 physicians. So it's all about healing, alternate modes of healing like Ayurveda, energy healing, all of that. So there's a big theme of healing. And the deity for Shatabhishak is Varuna. Varuna is the god of waters and oceans, all of that. So again, those things are connected with healing. And so the overall theme, Aquarius and Shatabhishak, is healing the masses. Okay. And then it's also entrines with Ketu. It's going to take place in Aquarius, and it's entrines with Ketu. And that means you can say it's all about spiritual healing of the masses. Okay, so that's the overall theme, the signature of this particular Amavasya. We'll talk about the impact on all the 12 rising signs next, but also you have to check in your chart if you have some important planets in the sign of Aquarius, or if there are important aspects. For example, your Lagna is Aquarius, or your Lagna Lord is sitting in Aquarius, or your moon is sitting in Aquarius, very important. Then it becomes even more powerful for you. So we'll look at each of the 12 signs now. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. All right, let's start with Aries. So this is the chart for exact moment of Amavasya that's coming up in February, February 19th at night, 11:06 p.m. US Pacific time. And that'll be February 20th in the morning at 12:36 p.m. on February 20th in India. So this is the chart for Amavasya. You see here, it's Amavasya, almost 0% left. And Sun and Moon are together in the sign of Aquarius, and they're trines to Ketu. So that's the exact picture. Now let's look at it one sign at a time. So we'll start with Aries. If you rotate the chart, so your chart from this house. So this is how it'll look for you. This is the transit chart for Aries rising. So if you have Aries rising, you superimpose this on top of your natal chart. So in this case, Amavasya is taking place in the 11th house, and that has a lot of properties similar to Aquarius, actually, right? So for Aries rising, the overall theme is reinforced. So essentially, you want to do something, with your ambitions and desires that are aligned with healing the humanity on a spiritual level. So that's the overall theme, interact with your friends, social circles, reach out to the masses, to the humanity, come up with some new innovative ideas that will help heal the humanity at a deep spiritual level. So that's the key theme for this month for Aries rising. Now we can rotate the chart and look at Taurus rising. So for Taurus rising, you see number 2 here. For Taurus rising, the Amavasya will be taking place in the 10th house of career and what we do in the broad daylight and the government authorities. So essentially, you can bring some spiritual element of healing to your career, to your work. If it's directly connected with healing, that's great. Otherwise, you can organize some healing sessions at your workplace, or incorporate some element of spiritual healing in your profession. And that'll be really fruitful. They'll actually bring healing at a deeper level. They'll help with your profession, right? So that's a Taurus rising. Next, Gemini rising, number 3 sign, Gemini rising. So that's taking place in your 9th house. The Amavasya will be in your 9th house. So for this Amavasya, you can do something with your gurus, with your teachers. You could go on a journey, a spiritual journey, but you can discuss spiritual healing with your teachers, learn some new things, higher studies, things like that. So that's the overall theme. Spend time with your gurus, people who you look up to as your teachers, as your guides, and delve deep into the spiritual aspects of healing with them. Next is Cancer. For Cancer rising, number 4 sign, it's taking place in your 8th house. Now, Cancer rising, it's very special because Cancer is ruled by Moon. So it is actually taking place in your 8th house, with Moon being your Lagna Lord, right? So it's for Cancer rising, any ups and downs, any fluctuations, any things happening to the Moon are very, very important. They are very sensitive to the phases of the Moon. So Amavasya is extremely important for Cancer rising people. So this is taking place in your 8th house, which deals with transformations and change and esoteric wisdom and hidden secrets, all of that. So excellent time for you to just dive deep into spiritual subjects, study some esoteric subjects, or just very, very deep meditation. That's the key for you. That will bring about the spiritual healing of the planet. Next is Leo rising. Number 5 sign for Leo rising, the new moon is taking place in the 7th house of partnerships, 7th house of your spouse, of your business partnership. 7th house, it's the house of other people. So you do something with other people, one-on-one partnerships, one-on-one interactions with other people on the subjects of spiritual healing. So you could actually organize some events, some retreats at a personal level, and do that with this overall theme of spiritual healing in mind. Okay, you could actually undertake some business projects, business partnerships that have some spiritual foundation to it. Next is Virgo rising. So for Virgo rising, it's taking place in the 6th house. Now, 6th house represents our Shadripus, our 6 weaknesses. 6th house represents hard work, working for other people, our service, our job, our people who work for us, servants or housemaids. And also 6th house is the house of competitions. So in any of those areas, you can incorporate the element of spiritual healing. For example, you could start a new health routine. You could start, you could make a pledge or a promise to work on your Shadripus, the 6 weaknesses, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsar. So any of that with a spiritual theme will be ideal for you for this month. Next, Libra rising, number 7 sign for Libra. It's taking place in the 5th house of children, of your disciples, of mantras, of luck, of speculation. All of those themes you can combine with the element of spiritual healing. So you could do like a retreat with your children, a very spiritual retreat with your children, or you could introduce them to spiritual subjects, or you could just do simple things with them sitting at home, simple meditation with your children, or you could literally give birth to some spiritual subjects, give birth to some projects or initiate some projects that have a spiritual healing element. Next is Scorpio rising. For Scorpio rising, it's taking place in the 4th house. The new moon, the Amavasya, is taking place in the 4th house. That represents our physical place of residence, represents our mother, represents vehicles that we drive. So all of that. So you could do a spiritual retreat with your mother. You could do some healing for your mother, or both of you could, do some things at your place of residence. Some spiritual events or programs at your home that'll be very, very uplifting and healing. For Sagittarius rising, number 9 sign, it's taking place in the 3rd house of younger siblings, of courage, of skills. You could learn some things. You could actually start learning. If you don't do it already, you can start learning spiritual healing subjects. Any of those esoteric sciences, you could start your education. You could learn some skills, actually, especially with your hands and arms, that involve your hands and arms, some skills that can do healing for other people. Or you could do some spiritual things with your younger siblings. That'll be very, very rewarding during this Amavasya. Next is the number 10 sign, Capricorn, and that's taking place in this Amavasya for Capricorn rising will be taking place in your 2nd house. That represents our family, our wealth, accumulated wealth, our speech, our diet. So you could start some very spiritual diet, or you could start some podcast or lecture series on spiritual healing. You could do some retreats with your family. Entire family can go on a retreat, as a very spiritual, uplifting healing retreat. So that's for Capricorn rising. Now for Aquarius rising, it's taking place in your Lagna. So very, very important. Lagna means this will be a good time for you to think about yourself, self-healing. And Lagna represents the entire chart in a way. So anything you do for yourself, for your own healing, working on your ego, working on your spiritual upliftment, all of those will be wonderful during this time. And lastly, the last sign of the zodiac, Pisces rising. For Pisces rising people, this Amavasya is taking place in the 12th house. That represents spiritual retreats, pilgrimage, travel to foreign countries. It represents travel to unknown places or other planes of existence like astral travel, yoga nidra, all of that. So those will be excellent for you to do during this Amavasya. You can do spiritual retreats that involve even travel to foreign countries like pilgrimage, or you can start doing yoga nidra, astral travel, or if you already do that, you can go deeper into those things. So that's the overall recommendations. Now let's look at the chart I've made for each of the 12 rising signs. So if you look here, for all the 12 rising signs, I have given which house the moon, the Amavasya, the new moon, will be taking place. So for Aries, it'll be in the 11th house. And this is a wonderful thing you can do. You can create a vision board, which means you can, think about what you want to manifest in your life, and you can have a vision of that. That will manifest. And then for Taurus rising, it is taking place in the 10th house. You can start a new project or a business idea. 10th house represents your profession, your career. So these are the key recommendations. For Gemini, it's taking place in the 9th house. You can take up some higher studies that has some spiritual healing element to it. You can meet your gurus and discuss these subjects with them. Cancer rising is taking place in the 8th house. Very, very important time for you. You can do deep meditation because 8th house is esoteric stuff. So you can learn some deep meditation. You can practice deep meditation. Leo, it's taking place in the 7th house of other people, of your one-on-one partnership. So you can do some meditation retreats with your partner. Virgo, it's taking place in 6th house. You can start a new health routine or work on your Shadripus. That'll give excellent results. For Libra rising, it's taking place in the 5th house, and you can give birth to something special. So if you're planning to have children, this is an excellent time to work on that, or just give birth to some projects or ideas or things that have spiritual healing element to it. Scorpio rising, it's taking place in the 4th house. So at your home, you can turn your home into a sanctuary, a spiritual retreat, do with your mother and things like that. And then Sagittarius rising, it's taking place in the 3rd house. You can develop some skills. All of these are wonderful, actually. Drum circle, gong bath, music healing. You can do any of these. Capricorn rising, it's taking place in the 2nd house, the new moon. You can focus on your diet, or you can start a podcast on spiritual healing or some kind of a speaking engagement. Aquarius rising, it's taking place in your Lagna, very important. So it's all about your self-healing. Finally, the Pisces rising, it's taking place in the 12th house. You can go on a pilgrimage for retreat, like a Ayurveda, Panchakarma retreat, things like that. Or you can practice any of these things that take you to other planes of existence, yoga nidra, astral travel. So that's in a nutshell. I have given 1 or 2 key remedies for each of the 12 rising signs for this particular upcoming Amavasya. All right, so this was a short video on the importance of Amavasya and the impact on each of the 12 rising signs, specifically for this upcoming Amavasya on February 19th and 20th. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Namaste.